In this video, we're gonna settle the debate once and for all. What is the best ending to Cyberpunk 2077? What's up, everyone? Big Dan here. I make videos about RPGs, and today we're going to rank every ending in Cyberpunk 2077. This will be the ultimate rankings list, which I'm sure everyone will agree with, and no one will have a problem with at all. So without further ado, let's buckle up, grab some iced coffee, and dive into the video. So let's start off with the worst ending to Cyberpunk 2077, which is the self-deletion ending. After meeting with Hanako, collapsing in the elevator, and getting revived by Vic, V heads to the roof to make the final choice of the game. And in this conversation with Johnny, V can actually decide to just give up and end it all, rather than put others at risk in a dangerous mission to infiltrate Arasaka Tower. On the surface level, this seems like a noble choice. Protect your friends by not putting them at risk. But in reality, this is a total cop-out, as V leaves a lot of pain and suffering behind, as we see during the calls in the end credits. Plus, we completely miss out on actually playing the final mission of the game, and essentially just end our entire epic journey on a sour cutscene. So yeah, this choice easily ranks as the worst ending in my books. But you know what isn't a bad choice? Diving into a badass post-apocalyptic action game by supporting the sponsor of today's video. Spirit X Strike is a single-player action-adventure game that allows you to craft unique combos and explore endless ways to stunt on your enemies with a high-speed combat system. You can test your fighting skills in fun, chaotic one versus group battles and intense boss fights as your character makes their way through this post-apocalyptic wasteland. While some developers are trying to charge $80 or even $90 for games these days, Spirit X Strike is available right now on Steam for the insanely low price of just $12. If you want to check out Spirit X Strike for yourself, then click on my link in the description. As far as the actual endings go, my worst choice is to take Hanako's deal and team up with Arasaka at the end of the game. After taking out Yorinobu's goons, Hanako seemingly fulfills her promise by sending V to a top-notch corpo medical facility and successfully extracting the relic from your head. But at this point, it becomes clear that Hanako sold us out and turned us into a corporate lab rat, as we get an endless string of experiments performed on us. CDPR really hammered home how awful this choice was by torturing us with a repetitive series of mini-games that feel like they take an eternity to complete. One of the most haunting aspects of this ending is the nightmares that V has about Jackie and Johnny, both of whom died at the hands of Arasaka, hammering home that we betrayed everyone we cared about along the way for a chance to save ourselves. And the worst part is that selling out doesn't even pay off in the end, as the corpos are unable to successfully save V's life. Arasaka managed to extract the relic, but V's brain was scrambled worse than iDubbbz after Creator Clash, so the docs predict V will die in a matter of months. Eventually, either Anders Hellman or Takamura will present V with a final choice. Sign a contract to get converted into an engram and ingested into Mikoshi, or pack your bags and return to Earth. Selling your soul to Arasaka is the worst version of this ending. Sure, you will live on as a digitized construct, but you'll forever be in the prison of Mikoshi as the property of Arasaka. We already see what that did to my homeboy Jackie. It's a fate worse than death. Telling Arasaka to shove it is the more satisfying version of this ending here, especially if we're talking to Anders Hellman. But overall, regardless of whether you return to Earth or end up in Mikoshi, siding with Arasaka is the worst mainline ending in Cyberpunk 2077. You betray those you care about, Johnny gets data wiped, and V still winds up dead regardless. A truly cursed ending. If you ally with the Aldecaldos or storm Arasaka Tower with Johnny and Rogue, you'll eventually break into Mikoshi and queue up Alt Cunningham to save your life. Alt successfully separates Johnny's engram from V, but these efforts are also in vain, as Alt breaks the news that V will still die. So at this point, you have to make a choice. Return to your own body and let Johnny get merged with Alt, or let Johnny take over V's body. Since V is doomed anyway, you may be tempted to give Johnny a second chance at life. The question is, does Johnny deserve this chance? In Act 3, Johnny begins to try and make amends with people he hurt over the years: Rogue, Carrie, Alt, and even V. And in this ending, he genuinely does show some signs of being a changed man, as we see him selflessly help out an aspiring rocker boy before skipping out of Night City. But I don't know, man. Something just seems wrong about letting Silverhand skinwalk my character, especially considering he just leaves all the characters you connected with in the dust. Pan Am in particular is molding and crashing out during this ending.
Believe me when I say I'm going to find you, you psychopath, wherever you're hiding. And when I do, I'm gonna rip V out of your head.
Also, this ending is much darker if you have a bad relationship with Johnny, as he can non-consensually snatch V's body at the end of the game. At the end of the day, the Temperance ending ranks near the bottom of my list. I love a good redemption arc, but not like this. If we storm Arasaka Tower with Johnny and Rogue, but then return to our own body, we'll unlock the Sun ending. I have a particular soft spot for this ending, as it was the first one I ever experienced when I beat the game back in 2020. This ending embodies the vibe of gaining everything you want, but losing everything in the process. V becomes a rich mercenary with a sweet penthouse apartment, the definition of reaching the major leagues. But at the same time, your lover leaves you, Johnny is gone, and you're still dying. In the end, you make a last-ditch effort at saving your life by allying with the shady Mr. Blue Eyes and undertaking a self-flatlining mission to heist an orbital casino. The game ends with V staring off into literal space, facing down your own demise. But hey, at least we had a few months living as a rich person, which is more than most people will ever experience. And we get to go out in a blaze of glory, becoming a legend in the process. And you know what they say, legends never fade. The secret ending to Cyberpunk 2077 is essentially the Giga Chad version of the Sun ending. If you chose the correct dialogue options with Johnny after finding his grave in the Badlands, and you wait 5 minutes without picking a choice on the roof, then Silverhand offers an alternate approach to storming Arasaka Tower. This unlocks a solo adventure where V walks into the front door of Arasaka Tower and has to take out some of the tankiest enemies in the game before reaching Mikoshi. The kicker with this ending is if you die, you go straight to credits, and the game essentially treats this as the self-deletion ending in this case. But if you manage to survive, you'll get the same ending choices you did with the other Alt Cunningham endings. Either return to your own body, or give it to Johnny. If you do return to your own body here, you'll still go on the casino mission for Mr. Blue Eyes, but this time Rogue will still be alive and you can talk to her at the afterlife. So just for that alone, I gotta rank this higher than the Sun ending. Overall, it's a badass ending to the game, but there are a couple of endings that I like better than this one. I debated putting this at the top of my list, but ultimately went with my gut and put it at number 2. The Star ending is unlocked if we storm Arasaka Tower with the help of the Aldecaldos, and then return to our own body after separating from Johnny inside Mikoshi. V still dies in this ending, but you'll get to live the last few months of your life as a free nomad surrounded by people who care about you. And what's stronger in this world than the bonds of family, love, and friendship? This ending is especially keyno if you romanced Pan Am, but even some of your other romance options will join you on your exodus from Night City. It's a hopeful ending that captures the spirit of freedom and acceptance. Sure, we cannot save our life in the end, but we get to end things on our own terms and spend our final days with people we care about and who care about us. It's the closest thing we can get to a happy ending in Cyberpunk 2077, and it's why a lot of players rank this as their favorite ending. Hot take coming through. I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me on this one, but my personal number one ending to Cyberpunk 2077 is the tower ending that was introduced with the Phantom Liberty DLC. In this ending, V cuts a deal with the FIA to extract the relic, and unlike our collaborations with Arasaka or Alt Cunningham, this procedure is actually successful. The engram gets removed and V survives, making this the only ending in Cyberpunk 2077 where V's death isn't imminent. However, this ending is not without loss. For starters, we will lose our ties to everyone we cared about throughout the campaign. If we were in a romance, that relationship is over. In my case, I was in a romance with Judy, but she shacked up with some other broad and moved to Pittsburgh. My biggest problem with this ending is that V just left everyone in the lurch. Right before you go under the knife, V just sends a text that says they're going away for a while. Seriously? That's it? You're about to get a major brain surgery and you don't tell your significant other the details? It makes no sense and just creates an arbitrary reason for all your loved ones to leave you. Because you don't just end up in a coma for a few hours or a few days, 2 years pass inside the FIA medical facility before you wake up. And in that time, literally everyone moves on except for Vic Vector. But you don't just lose all the people you cared about. You also lose all your combat prowess and prestige as well, not to mention your hair. So while you manage to survive and return to Night City, you essentially end up as a bald NPC, which may hit a little too close to home for some of y'all. Not me, though. I'm definitely not coping about a thinning hairline. So why do I like this ending then? Well, it offers a hopeful future. While V dies in literally every other ending, with this one we actually survive and get to create a new life. Even if my Merc days are over, I get to imagine how my V moves forward. I like to imagine that my V becomes a bald fixer and creates a new legacy as a mover and shaker in Night City. Or maybe I team up with Bill and create a Skopdog shop empire. In any case, I think actually surviving, is preferable to death. Even if we lose everything in the process, we are born again with the ability to create a new life. And I like that. So that is why I rank The Tower as the best ending to Cyberpunk 2077. So there you have it. We've explored every ending to Cyberpunk 2077 and ranked them all. What do you think about my rankings list? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear what your favorite ending to Cyberpunk 2077 is. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to Big Dan Gaming for more Cyberpunk and RPG videos. Big shout out to all the channel members for supporting my content. Until next time, this has been Big Dan. I should go.